What's going on, everybody? Taking a break on the pretty peaceful Spring Creek Trail. Spring Creek Greenway, it's called. That down there is Spring Creek. And that's one of the obstacles that I have to cross on my way to the bakery. And why there are so few bridges. Each bridge is like 8 miles apart. And that's why there's really only one way to go to get from here to there. So you can see these rivers, these creeks, are pretty, they're deep, for a little creek like that, there's a lot of space between here and the other side. And when it rains really hard, you can see how that all floods. And that becomes a torrent down there. So that's something that's pretty common in the coastal areas and the flats. And that's why there aren't that many bridges. And when they do build bridges, they have to build them to withstand pretty massive floods. And the fact that those little creeks turn into raging torrents that are really wide when things go down. So let me switch the camera around and we'll talk. What's going on? Just chilling today. Got back from checking out the scene. Just got done with the bakery and had a nice chill ride. I rode all the way to the bakery today without getting one person honking their horn at me. But I'm going to talk about my day, and then I'm going to dig deeper into another topic that I've been thinking about, especially on the bicycle today. And, but today, I've said this how many times? I'm closing in on 2,000 miles on my bicycle since the first of the year, and it's May 3rd. Today is May 3rd. And you know how many times I've gotten rained on since January 1st? Even though I've rode my bike almost 2,000 miles, and I don't choose the days that I'm riding, my schedule chooses it for me. I've been rained on like twice, and both times it wasn't even that bad. It was one time I had to wear a raincoat because it was cold and raining, but it stopped raining not too long after I put on the raincoat. The other time it was more like a sprinkle, like a mist that would change, it would come down a little bit harder, then it would lay off, and it was just kind of there the whole way home. But it was kind of like after the heat we had been having, it was like when you're at an amusement park or the zoo or something like that, and you walk in front of those fans with the mist sprays, and you get like that mist blowing on you. That's what it was like. And it was kind of nice. And so I've said this in other videos. I've said this a dozen times. Jesus says, if you have faith the size of a mustard seed, if you have that much faith, you can look at a mountain and pick up that mountain and throw it in the sea with your mind. Just like Darth Vader would pick someone up with the Force, choke them out, toss them away. You could do that to a mountain. If you have faith the size of a mustard seed, well, my faith isn't that big. Not even as big as a mustard seed. That's a huge amount of faith. Go find a mustard seed and you'll see. But I must have enough faith to keep the rain away. Because yesterday and the day before, like the last 2 or 3 days, we had some wild weather here in Houston. Thunderstorms and torrential downpour that were I thought the little house I'm living in was going to turn into an ark and just float away. Every time the thunder would rock the house, it would shake the house to its foundation, which is just a bunch of piles of cinder blocks all stacked up under it So there's really no foundation. Anything would, a good gust of wind could knock that fucking thing over. But there was good gust of winds, and there were the thunder. Whoo, boy, the thunder was so massive that it would shake the whole place. Pouring rain. Weather forecasts. Look at the weather. All right, look at that. Right, not a cloud in the sky. I don't even see the chemtrails down here. Like, that's one thing about Houston, man. They don't, up north, man, they crisscross the sky with those chemtrails all day and all night. You can never see a sunset anymore up north in the northeast United States. By the time the fucking sun gets to the afternoon, the crisscrosses of all the chemtrails that they're spraying on you motherfuckers blocks out the sun, and you can't even watch a sunset anymore. I don't see that shit down here. I don't know if it's banned in Texas. I don't know if like they put their feet down and said stop spraying this shit on us. I don't know, but I don't really see it down here. I don't see it very often. In fact, I can't think of a time I've seen it. I mean, we get cloudy days, but I don't see the chemtrails. I don't see the man-made crisscrosses of shit in the sky covering up the sun and blocking the sun. It's nice and sunny. When the sun's out, it's out. It's different. It's nice. It's like being a kid again. This is what it was like when I was a kid and the sun was out. The sun would be out. There'd be planes flying back and forth in the sky. They might leave a little streak of white, but it would disappear before the plane even got to the other side of the sky. Now it's just this big cloud of shit that they spray all across the sky, and every fucking jet that goes back and forth is leaving one, and before you know it, the whole sky is full of these fucking chemtrails, and then they spread out and they block out the sun, and it just turns into a sky of mush. But not here. I don't see that shit here. I cannot. I would notice it if I saw it. I'm not saying it never happens. I'm not saying I've never seen it, but I haven't seen it in so long that if I did see it, I would be like, holy shit, chemtrails. I haven't seen those in a while. But back home, back up north, that's every day. Like a day like this is unheard of in Pittsburgh. A nice sunny day like this where they just let the sun be out and don't block it. So, the rain, pouring rain all night, thunder. I mean, it was waking me up out of my sleep, pouring down. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to have to, imagining I'm going to have to get on my raincoat and just like accept the fact that I'm going to be completely soaked by the time I get to work. Well, right when I woke up, the rain stopped. And by the time, at 5 o'clock when I woke up, the rain was gone. But everything was still wet. I mean, everything was wet. But at 6:30 when I left, the roads dry fast down here. They dry fast. And as soon as I got on the bicycle and started riding, I got pretty, right around the time of the actual sunrise, the sun came up over the horizon. Any clouds that were left in the sky were gone, and it was just bright and sunny and beautiful the whole way in. It was a little bit chilly, I was wearing a t-shirt and shorts, and it was just a little bit, I don't know, it may have been 60 degrees. A little bit chillier than what it's normally been lately. Not cold enough to wear not cold enough to put on a long sleever, but just kind of like 5 degrees colder, I would have wanted to wear some sleeves. At least until it warmed up. Rode all the way in. And when I got there, I was like, nobody honked their horn. Now, it's Saturday. And there's less traffic. And so that definitely has something to do with it. But even on Saturday, they find a reason to get shitty with me on the roads, and they didn't today. And I took the roads all the way in. except for this bike trail that you're looking at right now. Because this is actually the fastest way for me to go is, well, I think that I could take a road instead of this bike trail that would make the ride a few minutes faster, but this doesn't add anything to the ride, and it adds a lot to my sanity to just chill out on this thing. It's like this actual trail is about four miles long maybe, and then there's a neighborhood at the other end of this trail where I came from that way that is like a pretty easy, you get honked at here and there, but it's kind of like a slow speed limit neighborhood, just yuppie houses. There's an older housing development and a newer housing, like a McMansion style development, for those assholes. And then like an older housing development that was probably built in the 70s or 80s, mainly because the houses are all smaller, they're a little bit closer together, and they're much higher quality builds than what you see in these fucking cardboard and particle board McMansions that they're throwing up everywhere. These are like the older neighborhood that I ride through, like the houses are made of actual bricks instead of like siding that's plastic and made to look like it's brick. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, beautiful day to ride. I've got a tailwind all the way home. The wind shifted direction. And it's a pretty decent tailwind. I was flying. I took the bicycle trails through the woodlands. If I take the bicycle paths through the woodlands, by the time I get to this bench that I'm sitting on now, I've ridden 3 miles on roads. And I'm about I can go 13 of the 20 miles without taking roads if I take those paths next to the roads in the woodlands. But they're slow. They're slow. It adds time. It adds a lot of time. And so, you're talking about a maximum speed of 10, maybe 15 miles an hour at spots. Out on the road, my speed is like 20 miles an hour to 25 on the same roads. Because all these paths in the woodlands they're like the sidewalk next to the road, but they're tucked a little bit back behind some trees. It's all an illusion. It's like some Disney World fake bullshit where they manicure the neighborhood to look a certain way. You can look this up. It's called the Woodlands. Just look it up. It's famous. It's one of these famous housing developments. So I decided to take that just so I could chill and have a little talk with God. I didn't listen to any music today, no podcasts, nothing. It was just me and the good Lord talking about some stuff, going over some things. And I said that prayer before I went into the bakery today of just, watch over everybody here, make it so we all have a good time, we all get along. And I also ask him to make the day go by fast. And this prayer, whenever I do it, it works. I'm telling you, if I forget to do it, I notice it right away because the atmosphere is completely different when I don't say this prayer. I'm not going to go to the length of saying it's a negative atmosphere, but there will be stress in the air. The day will drag on painfully slow. And there will be other things, and I'll be in a bad mood. But if I remember to say this prayer before I go in there, everything's different. So today was a great day. I mean, we all got along, we all joked. I told them the newest because everybody asks, like not as soon as they see me, but during a break in at some point during the day, people are like, so Adam, what's going on with what's the newest update on your slumlord situation? And I'm like, you're not gonna, are you all caught up? You know about the prostitution ring and the burglary and all that stuff okay, so are you caught up on that part, or do I have to go back Like, okay, so I told them the new thing that developed this week, and they were just like floored. And I'm not sharing it with you guys mainly because I haven't moved yet, and number two, I'm not convinced that it's real. And everybody at work was like, yeah, but when I told them what happened and what I saw and what I believe might, I'm saying it's a 50-50 shot that I'm right about this, but 50, I mean, that might even be, there's probably a 10%, 5% chance that I'm right about this, but something very fishy that I saw and noticed and connected two dots together on. And everybody there is like, every single person that knows what I'm not telling you has told me that they would feel just exactly the same that I feel about it right now. And they're like, did you report this? And I said, well, I'm going to leave it right there. You're going to know someday. I'm telling the whole story. But this is too juicy. This is fucking... If this turns out to be true, whoa, this is like... This takes everything to... This takes everything on a level of fucked up from 1 to 10. This would be like 3,942 on the fucked up scale from 1 to 10. If this thing that I suspect could possibly, who knows if it's true or not. If it is, that's a whole new level of fucked up. Like, this is the kind of story that when I lay it out and tell the whole story, it would go viral and make my YouTube channel blow up to like millions of views because of how crazy this story is. If it's true. And if it's not, time will tell. Time will tell. I wish I could say more, but right now I'm not. I will. No matter what happens, I'll tell you all. I'll tell you what happened. I'll tell you. But, I just, this is too... When I tell you, you'll understand why I'm not saying anything right now. You'll totally understand. But everybody at work was like... I had to tell the story twice because they were half paying attention. They wanted to know, but they were half paying attention, and they're like, whoa, 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 whoa. Say that again? And I had to tell it again. And they're like, no. And everybody said, I'm talking like 6 different people said, I would have felt the exact same way you did and did the exact same thing you did. So, especially with everything else going on and everything that you found out, it's too coincidental to ignore. That's what it is. There's something major that just happened here in Houston. And there's a significant coincidence link, and I don't know if they're linked. But it's a big deal. It's a big deal. And if the chances of it being truly linked together I think they're slim. I'm going to be honest. I think it's a slim chance that these two things are connected. But if they are, oh boy, this might be one of the most fucked up stories I could ever tell them of anything I've experienced. So I just had to let some guy walk by. It just gets on my nerves when people are hanging out while I'm trying to talk to you all. You know this, if you've been watching the channel. I don't like people. I don't like to do a YouTube video when there's a bunch of people around. Let's see. So, yeah, I was talking about this coincidence. Crazy coincidence. Crazy mind-blowing coincidence but I truly don't believe that they're connected. These two things are connected together. But if they are, wow. I just don't believe they are. I can't believe it. I don't have, it's just too coincident. Everybody said that if they had seen what I saw and connected, that they would have connected the two dots together themselves and think the same thing I'm thinking, but also have the same apprehension. Like, this is like a pretty serious thing. You don't want to go and accuse somebody of something that they had nothing to do with without some sort of evidence to back it up, other than a hunch or a strange coincidence. And I'm going to leave it at that for now. But yeah, they got a kick out of that at the bakery because the story just keeps getting crazier. The story of this landlord situation is so messed up and so crazy that I'm shifting my, I'm gonna use the armrest here. I still got some more stuff, but the story of this situation is so crazy. It's mind-blowing. And so that's kind of what I've talked about this already, but I'm going to talk about it some more. And again, and kind of rehash some things. It's gonna be hard. I don't want to talk about it. Somebody in the comments asked about this, and there's probably some people who weren't following my channel when I was homeless who are following it now. And I'm just gonna ignore the trolls. I'm kind of like, a bunch of douchebags left some stupid ass comments today, and I'm gonna respond to one of them because this asshole shows up on every video and I think he's a fucking piece of shit. But anyway, this whole hatred thing that I have is, I think God's telling me two things. I gotta let go of some of this hate that I'm holding on to before he's gonna open the door for me to move on. I gotta lay down the hate. And if you watch this channel, I don't do that easily, do I? So if someone crosses me, I'm gonna hit them back. But then you've got Jesus. They nailed this dude to a fucking board, right? Like a piece of wood like that, and hung him up in the air on nails in front of the whole crowd. And he's up there dying, and he's like, please, Father, forgive them. They don't know what they're doing. Could you imagine what I would do if they hung me up like that? Nobody's hung me up on a fucking board and stuck me up in the air, hanging with nails through my wrists and ankles. Could you imagine if I was hanging on a fucking cross? What a belligerent asshole I would be. Now, I think the people who hung me up on the board would be the assholes in the situation, unless I did something to deserve it, But, I mean, what would you have to do to deserve that? But could you imagine me? I'd be hanging up on that cross. You motherfuckers, I fucking hate all of you. Fuck you, rotten hell, you fucking dickheads. Go fuck yourselves. All of you people can go suck a fucking dick. Blah. I'd be like, that would be it. Until I'd be taking my last breath. I'd be like, fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. That would be until that last breath. I'd be motherfuckering everybody in front of me. All you fucking Roman soldiers, all you fucking cocksuckers. I'd be screaming and yelling until I couldn't take another breath. I'd use every ounce of breath to tell you motherfuckers off, because it's all I got left. I'm hanging on a board waiting to die. What else am I going to do? But Jesus, he's up there. He's like, forgive these people. They don't know what they're doing. And, what has anybody done to me? Nobody's done anything to me to that level. So, there's a lesson there, somewhere, right? God wants me to get that lesson. Now, somebody in the comments, I don't know who, I'm not going to read the comment. I don't even want to talk about this because it's just like, how many times am I going to keep beating this dead horse? It stinks. It's the carcass is right. It's been tapped at. It's been pecked at by the vultures. The maggots have gotten their fill. It's pretty much just a pile of bones at this point, with very little meat. This dead horse has been laying there for a long time, and I'm still kicking it, still beating dead horse. It's to the point where this horse is basically a skeleton, and maybe some hair mashed into the pavement where it got run over. But here we go, because I think there's like something for. The only reason I'm going to talk about it is because I hope somebody gets something out of it. Like, I'm coming to some realizations, and I hope, maybe somebody else needs to hear this, and maybe this is why I have to share it. Somebody asked me about this in the comments, and I'm kind of like, I don't want to rehash this story over and over again, but people keep asking me, and people in person, as I get to know people, they hear the story. And so the story is, what the hell happened with you and your ex? Here we go. Fuck. So when I got arrested, I was in a good relationship. I mean, I was ring shopping. And, in my history, every time I go shopping for a ring, that's when everything falls apart. So I should just learn, never go ring shopping. Like, just find a relationship. Don't go that far. Don't go shopping for a ring, because whenever you do that, that's when things take a turn. But anyway, it was a good it was the best relationship I ever had. And then the FBI drove a tank into my house in August of 2022, took me to federal prison for 2 years for some mean tweets. If only I had threatened Donald Trump's life or Donald Trump's wife or his family or anybody associated with Donald Trump, they'd have left me alone. We all know this. In fact, I went and looked at a house 2 days ago. More than Tuesday. I rode 60 miles on my bicycle to go look at this house and come back. Turns out I can't get good internet there. Found out at the bakery today other people have had that internet company, and it's shit. I was told from the horse's mouth, so to speak, that the internet is shit, and that I was correct in my assumption that I wouldn't be able to get good internet at that house. But anyway, the landlord and I, we had a kind of a nice, I had some judgments on him before I met him, but when I met him in person, those melted away. My spidey sense is just off right now. I'm kind of on guard. We'll talk about that in a minute, but I'm just kind of like, any littlest things are kind of making me go, that guy's an asshole. And I have to keep telling myself, you're just reading too much into this text message, Adam. You're going back and forth on Facebook Messenger with text messages about looking in a place, and you're reading into some message he sent you, and you're already judging 6 different things about him that aren't there. Or maybe they are. And I copied and pasted the conversation into Grok to see if the AI could analyze it. And Grok even said, you have some valid concerns, Adam, but you also are probably jumping the gun. But, professional AI analysis said that I was on point with my concerns. But anyway, that's a side story. When I met with the guy, he said, do you have any criminal history? And I told him, and he goes, wait a minute. He's like, they put you in prison for 2 years for that? He's like, I thought you could threaten Donald Trump, and I thought nobody would come knocking on your door if you were threatening his life. And I said, it wasn't. I said I was threatening Joe Biden's administration. He goes, oh, Well, that's why they put you in prison. He's like, if you would have threatened Donald Trump, they'd have left you alone, right? And he was like, holy shit, dude, they put you in prison for that? 2 fucking years? And he just went on this whole thing. He's like, holy fuck, that's crazy. He's like, no, I want you to live here. He's like, no, that's the second time I've had a landlord go, oh my God, now that I know that, I want you to be my tenant. You'll be a good tenant. We'll all get along just fine. We're all patriots here. And I'm like, good to know. Good to know. If the internet wasn't bunk, I would already be making a move on this place. So, this is what people think when I tell them about what I did. But anyway, they came and scooped me up, put me in federal prison, tortured me for 2 years, and this girlfriend stood by my side the whole time. The whole time. Came to visit me, put money on my books, talked to me every single day. In fact, if we were locked down, if the jail was locked down and I couldn't talk to her for a couple of days, she'd panic and I'd get all these crazy messages. Oh my God, I hope you're okay. I love you. You know, you're the best thing that ever happened to me. We're going to have a good life together. You know, all of that. And then right when I'm about to come home, fuck you, you fucking piece of shit. You ruined my life. I fucking hate you. You fucking piece of shit. You know, and blah, 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 and this and that. And when I came home a few weeks later, it was, she almost threw me out of the fucking car on the side of the road on the way to the apartment that she had set up for us to live together in. And so I'm skipping over a lot, and I'm glossing over a lot, but that's the gist of what happened. I lived in that apartment for about 45 days, and then I was kicked to the curb to be homeless. I came home on April 3rd, was homeless on May 17th. She threw me out in the street to be homeless. And so everybody that hears all the details of this story, because I've had to share, people poke and prod. They're like, well, how did you end up homeless? And, you know, they poke and prod until you finally open up enough to tell them the story. Because I don't like to rehash it all the time. I don't sit and think about it all the time. I've got so much shit going on. But it's been at the forefront for the last 30 days. It's been 30 days. I came home from prison. I walked into the apartment on April 3rd, 2024. And on April 3rd, 2025, this fucking landlord this slumlord, excuse my, you know, I mix up words from time to time, but he's a slumlord. He's not a landlord. He threatened me. I had gone so far, I had gone over 2 months without hot water, can't take a shower. And the dude is like, I'm raising the rent by $200, and if you don't pay me, I'm going to throw you out at the end of the month. And I'm like, that's not how this shit works, dude. I got a 6-month lease. What are you going to do? And my lease says this is what I pay. And he goes, well, I don't care. I'm changing it anyway. It's like Darth Vader. You know, I'm altering the deal. Pray I don't alter it anymore. And I'm like, you still haven't even fixed the fucking shower, and you think I'm going to pay more in rent? You're out of your fucking mind. He's like, fine, you can be out of the house at the end of the month. And I'm like, how do you expect that's going to happen? He's like, I'll throw you out. And I'm like, that's not how it works. If I let him file an eviction, that I can drag that bitch out for 90 days. I can drag that shit out past the end of my lease and force him to take me to court. And then I've already lawyered up. Just, you know, FYI, I lawyered up. I found a lawyer on April 3rd, and I talked to a lawyer, like, I don't know, within a week of this happening. And there's more details, but that's kind of a side story. But the landlord situation is part of the story. So anyway, every time people ask, what happened with your ex? Why did it end like that? And I'm like, I don't know. She was there. She stood by my side for almost 20 months, waiting for me to come home. I love you every day. I want to be with you. I want to spend the rest of my life with you. You're the best thing that ever happened to me. And, you know, vice versa. And then I come home and it's like, you fucking piece of shit. I fucking hate you, you know, just. And like to the point where she's like, get the fuck out of here and go be homeless. And So how she turned on a dime and just flipped from one to the other, nobody knows. Like, we all know, we all wonder. Everybody who's heard the story wonders. And a lot of people have heard the story. And a lot of people wonder. And they're just like, that makes no fucking sense. Like, why wouldn't she just leave when this went down? Why wouldn't she just leave when you went to prison? Why would somebody stick around that long and invest and make that investment and invest that much of themselves in something just to throw it? It would be like riding in the Tour. Literally, this is like what it would be like. The Tour de France is the most grueling athletic event in sports, all of sports. 2,000 to 3,000 miles around the country of France, climbing up and down the steepest mountains, some of the steepest mountains in the world that have roads, for 27 days, and you get 2 days off. So it's 25 days of cycling, anywhere from 30 miles a day to 200 miles a day, depending on the stage and depending on what it is. But every day you're on that bicycle. Now imagine that you are on the last day. The last day of the Tour de France is basically a criterium race around the city of Paris. It's on the Champs-Élysées, and they do like 10 laps around the Champs-Élysées, but it's a casual ride. The race has already been decided by that point. The winner of the race is wearing the yellow jersey. He's so far ahead of everybody else. There's only been like a couple of times that the Tour de France was decided on the last day, and Greg LeMond won on the last day of the Tour de France against, what's his name? Laurent Fignon. Old rivalry from the 1990s, early 90s. But it was a time trial on the last day on the Champs-Élysées. That's where the time trial ended, and that's where the race could have been, that's how it was won and lost. But most of the time it's a pack race. So everybody in a pack, when you see 300 riders go across the finish line all at once, they all get the same time. The only time that there's a time gap is when there's a time gap in the groups. But the yellow jersey's protected on the last day of the tour. So they're literally passing a champagne bottle back and forth and getting drunk on the last day of the Tour de France. They're getting drunk on their bikes. All you got to do is not fall off the fucking... And even if you do fall off the bike, you're probably not going to lose the tour. Because you can get back on your bike, stumble around, get back on, and fucking wobble your way back into the pack. The yellow jersey's usually so far ahead that... Anyway, so after 25 days of the most grueling athletic event, the most exhausting, grueling, mind-bending thing you've ever done in your fucking life, on the very last day of the tour, you're going around the Champs-Élysées, and you've got one lap to go around the Champs-Élysées, and then you are the winner of this year's Tour de France. And imagine just getting off the bicycle with one lap around town left and saying, you know what, fuck this, I quit. I don't want to do this anymore. You literally got to ride your bike like another 2 miles on flat roads. You don't even have to push the pedals. Your team is drafting you. You're literally just, all you have to do is pedal. Put one foot in front of the other. Don't get too drunk that you're going to fall off your bike. And even if you do fall off your bike, you can get back on and still fucking win. I mean, it's really that, like, it's that cut and dry. You just have to cross the finish line today. You don't even have to, as long as you cross the finish line today, you've won the race. That's how it usually goes. There's no chance, like, there's usually minutes, several minutes, sometimes 10 minutes of a gap between the leader and the second place rider by this point. So you would have to literally get off your bike and sit for 10 minutes, let that person pass you, or, finish the race 10 minutes after the lead pack crosses the line. And then you would lose. And that's unheard of. You could get a flat tire and still win. I mean, you're not going to lose on the last day. All you have to do is show up, and you won the trophy. So imagine on the last day of the Tour de France, after going through all that shit, you finally just say, "Fuck it, I quit. I don't want to ride anymore. I'm sick of my taint hurts, my back hurts, my legs are fucking sore. I'm fucking done." You throw your bike. You throw a temper tantrum, you throw your bike down, and you walk away, and you're like, "Fuck this shit, I'm done." You get in the team car and you drive away, and you basically just threw away the Tour de France, the most elite trophy in the sport of cycling that you could possibly win, and you had it in your hand on the last day. Literally, you're getting drunk on fucking bottles of champagne as you ride into Paris. It's yours, and one lap around the block, one lap around the block, and you're like, "Nah, I quit. I'm done." So that's how this relationship ended. That's like the perfect analogy. We were one block away from the end of the fucking Tour de France, and she's like, "Fuck it." She got mad, threw the bike down, walked away, and was like, "Fuck it." Got in the team car and drove away and said, "Fuck it. I don't want this shit anymore. I don't want the trophy. Fuck the Tour de France. Fuck this shit. I'm out." And so when people hear the story, they're like, "That doesn't make any fucking sense, dude." I'm like, duh. So what's the first thing everybody says? We all know. What's the first thing anybody's gonna think when I tell that story? What's the first thing you think I thought when it happened? So you know how many times, I'm not even gonna tell you because it's a lot, but you know how many times people are like, "Bro, hey, I don't know, I hate to tell you this, but she was obviously fucking some other guy." I mean, come on, dude. You know that, right? You don't think the thought didn't cross my mind? Fuck. We had that fight. And at this point, it doesn't fucking matter. The point is, that's the only thing that makes any logical sense to anybody. So, of course, that's the first conclusion that you come to. And, I mean, when it comes to women... Oh, here comes one now. I'll talk about this in a minute. All right, so back to the story. And this chick was walking by, and I'm like, if I'm going to put all women on blast, I probably should do it in the privacy of no women being around, at least while I'm saying it. I mean, I'll put it out on YouTube, but I'll keep it chill. I'll keep it chill while I'm here. It looks like the sun's creeping down behind the trees a little bit. Not quite yet, but it's getting there. I can take these off pretty soon. So yeah, that's the first conclusion that anybody comes to. You don't think that thought didn't cross my mind? Come on. So, but a woman's never going to admit that to you. I mean, you could walk into the bedroom. You could walk into the bedroom and see your girlfriend or your wife with another guy's dick in her mouth, and she'll look at you and be like, "Oh, what would you think?" And you might say, "Well, why don't you take the cock out of your mouth and tell me what you're trying to say?" It's not what you think. It's not what you think. Okay, well then tell me what you think this is. Like, you could catch a woman with another guy's dick in her mouth, and she still won't admit that she's cheating on you. So, yeah, duh. So, there's no way for me to know what happened there. And this shit, like I said, it's like there's a dead horse back in the woods, and I'm just beating on it some more because why not? There's still some bones. There's still meat on those bones. I can go beat that dead horse again. So, duh, that's what everybody thinks. And at this point, it doesn't matter. But that's the only logical explanation as to what happened. So that's the story of what happened. I came home from prison. She was toxic. We couldn't be in the same room together. Like, it didn't. I'm walking around on eggshells for 45 days, and it was just bad, bad, bad. And then she finally was like, "Get the fuck out of here." And, like, literally, go be fucking homeless. I fucking hate you. Get the fuck out of my life. And the thing is, the apartment, like, everything in the apartment was mine, because it was like she set up this place to be our place. So it was my stuff, mostly furniture, I grabbed what I could. Somebody came up and helped me put it all in a U-Haul van and took it to store in Pittsburgh. And the only stuff that was left that didn't fit in the van was like my stuff anyway, furniture. And I'm just like, fuck it, do what you want with it. I'm not coming back for it. So, and I've never, the only time I've ever seen her since is like in passing, because I was stuck in Jamestown homeless, wandering around the fucking streets, and every now and then she'd just show up right in front of me, but we never made contact or anything. It would just be, I'd be sitting in a fucking window and she'd walk right in front of me, and I'd be like, fuck. Like, I had to get away from that. I'm so glad I got the fuck away. I'm so glad I'm 2,500 miles away from that shit. That feels good. So, that's the story. That's the first part of what I'm talking about. And it's a recap to some of you, and some of you are new to the channel and you've never heard the story. One of you asked me in the comments. Other people have asked, what the hell happened? That's the story. In a nutshell, I've left out details. How much can I really say in the time that that I have? And I'm shooting from the hip. I don't have notes. I don't have like everything written. I don't have like a full timeline written down in front of me. So I'm going to take a little drink here. All right, so right before I came home from prison, she's a business owner. I'm not gonna say any more. Owns a business, brick and mortar. And like I said, she set up an apartment for us to live in when I came home. And I remember the day that she told me she found a place for us to live, and how happy she was, and how, like, I remember her saying things like, I hope you like it. I'm trying to make it nice for you. Like all that stuff. Like, I think I did a good job. I hope you enjoy it. Just, she wanted to please me. She wanted me to be happy. And I'm like, the fact that you did it makes me happy. I don't need any more than that. I just want to come home to you. And but anyway, that's how it was. Like, it was good. Like, it wasn't good, but I had something to come home to. And then I didn't. And then I got something to be homeless from. On the opposite side of the spectrum. And so, yeah, everybody that hears this story, and I've had to tell this because people like the people that run the homeless shelter, for example, when I got homeless, they're like, how did you end up homeless? You are not the tip. Like, how the fuck did you end up homeless? Like, they knew about the jail and they knew about all the stuff, but they're like, how the fuck did this really happen? And like, they would poke and prod until I told them the whole story. Holy fuck. And they'd say the same thing. Like, that makes no sense, Adam. It makes no sense. And then they're like, she's probably fucking some other guy. The same conversation all over again, right? All the time. Everybody, every single person. So I'm sick and tired of reliving this. I'm hoping that what I'm about to tell you and all the stuff put together, I hope it's helpful for somebody. Maybe I'm supposed to share this. Maybe this is something somebody needs to hear for their own reasons, whatever. It's also a warning that if you go and do something stupid, fuck, all I did was post some dumb shit on Twitter, for fuck's sake. And look what it's done. Like, imagine if I actually did something. Imagine if I actually did a crime. Like, look at this fucking landlord of mine. He's got a criminal record that goes back decades. One felony after the next, 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 after the next. And I'm just like, get me the fuck out of here. I'm trying to get the fuck out of this place as fast as I can now that I know about this stuff. I don't want anything to do with this guy. I'm avoiding him. I don't talk to him. I don't want to see him. I don't want to look at him. I don't want to make contact with him at all. This is a bad situation. I want to get the fuck away from it. And that's what I'm working towards. And then this is the next part of the story, is the landlords. So like I said, she owns a business, brick and mortar, and set up an apartment for us. Well, at the exact same time, the landlord, she did a really nice, so she rented a building from a guy and took out a construction loan and basically paid to have this building rehabilitated because it was about to be condemned, and she turned it into a beautiful space and spent a lot of money on it, but she got to customize it and do it exactly the way she wanted to do it. And it's really cool space, really nice. And so nice, in fact, that the landlord saw it and was like, holy shit, I want this. And so he waited until the right time to make his move, and then he came in and tried to take it from her. But the bank wouldn't have given her the construction loan for this whole project if she didn't have an ironclad lease that he couldn't do it. Like, she was supposed to be there for so many years. And this guy was like, no, I'm kicking her out. And so he started trying to strong arm her into throwing her out into the street and shutting down her business and taking the space from her. And that turned into a court fight. And that turned into retaliation. And he was doing shit like turning off the heat, shutting off the water, sabotaging things like doing work on the opposite side of the building and letting water run underneath the walls and slide into the floor, like just one thing after the next, like vicious shit. And at the exact same time, the landlord, the slumlord for the apartment that she set up, was doing all the same shit that my current landlord's doing to me. Literally, the guy was supposed to put in a new shower, and he dragged his ass for 2 months and didn't do it. So she couldn't take a shower. Sound familiar? Here I am. I can't take a fucking shower for 3 months. Well, that was going on back in Jamestown. She couldn't take a shower for 3 fucking months in her own apartment. The guy finally does it. He does such a shoddy job and such a shitty job that it had to be completely ripped out and redone. And she ended up hiring a contractor to do it herself and paid for it and took the money out of the rent and said, fuck you, I'm not paying the rent. So then the landlord, retaliated against her by spreading around town, hey, he's going up to everybody in the neighborhood going, hey, I hope you know that her boyfriend is a convicted murderer who's been in prison for the last 10 years, and he's coming home, and you're going to have a convicted murderer who just got out of prison as your next door neighbor. How does that make you feel? And he was going around and spreading that shit around the whole neighborhood, that I'm a convicted murderer who just got out of prison, doing like a 10-year bid. And he was telling all this shit. Well, then he ended up selling the building to another guy, and he told that guy the same story. Oh yeah, by the way, you're going to have a convicted murderer living in the building after you buy it. I just wanted to let you know before that happens, just in case you might want to do something about that, and blah, 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 and this and that. And at the same time, the landlord for the business was going around town and spreading the same kind of rumors. Hey, she's got a boyfriend who's a convicted murderer, and he's coming back to town, and do you really want to do business with someone like that? And all this shit. And it goes deeper than that. But I'm telling you that these two fucking landlords came out of the woodwork and attacked her in both directions simultaneously and viciously. And it was a fight, like court battles and fights. Like, look at what this shit's done to me, okay? On the anniversary of my first day home from prison, where I actually set foot in an apartment for the first time, could sit in an actual chair and watch a TV with a remote control in my hand and sit in front of a computer and be on the internet and all that kind of stuff. Have an iced coffee. Have a fucking cold brew iced coffee. Wow. All the shit of home. The very first time since August 12th of 2022 was April 3rd, 2024. And now April 3rd, 2025, this fucking landlord, the slumlord that I'm dealing with right now, I'm already 2 months without having fucking hot water, and all of a sudden he's threatening me and threatening to, if you don't want to pay, I'm ripping up the lease. If you don't want to pay more rent, I'll throw you out at the end of the month. I'll take your shit and throw it out in the fucking street. You know, he's like threatening me and causing me all kinds of problems. And look at me for the last, that was exactly 30 days ago. And I'm out of my fucking mind. You've been watching the videos day after day after day. And if you go back, I mean, I was bitching about some stuff because that's what I do. I'm a glass half empty guy. I'm not the glass half full. If the glass is half empty, I'm like, fuck, I only got half a glass. I'm always going to be like that. I'm not going to be like, oh, thank God I have half a glass. No, I'm going to be like, I need a full glass. It's the way it is. So, you know, we're all different. Some people see the glass half empty, some see it half full. There's nothing wrong with either side of that. Sometimes you need the glass half empty guy because when you're getting shit on, like our government, or when you're getting shit on by a shitty slumlord, you need the glass half empty guy because that's the guy that's going to put up a fight and not take the shit. The glass half full guy is just going to be like, well, okay, I'll just put my head in the sand and hope he goes away. No, I'm the guy you don't want to fuck with. Believe me, I've got a 5-point plan. I can take this guy to town 10 ways from Sunday, and my only decision right now that I have to make is, do you want to do it? All right. So that's my decision. Do you want to do that? Or do you not want to do that? That's the thing I have to decide. And there's pros and cons. But this has flipped my world upside down, this landlord bullshit. And so I just keep coming to the conclusion here with, you know, the good Lord, that there's probably something to this. The fact that it all happened on April 3rd, exactly 1 year ago. You know, I came home from prison and what I came home to. And like, it's almost like God allowed this all to happen and allowed the timing to be such coincidence that I would not be able to look at this without putting those two dots together. And so here I am in the middle of a landlord battle, a shitty one. And look at what it's done. Look how much stress I'm under. I've got to go on 78-mile bicycle rides, 60-mile bicycle rides, one after the next after the next. I'm scrambling, trying to find a place to live. I don't have enough money for this. Everything, all my plans are thrown in the fucking water. I can't focus on my work. I can't do anything. I'm literally falling apart at the seams. And I'm literally more stressed out right now than I've been since the day I came home from prison. I wasn't as stressed out as I am right now when I was homeless. Not at any point of being homeless. I wasn't as stressed out living in an apartment with the ex. I wasn't as stressed out being homeless. I've never been as stressed out as I am right here, right now, today. I'm handling it better today, but I'm still feeling it. And I'm literally hoping that I've got a place in my pocket, and I'm hoping something better comes along. Like, I feel the pull of, don't pull the trigger yet. Something better is going to come. But I'm giving it until the middle of the month, like 15th. And then I've got to make a move, because that's 2 weeks till the end of the month. And I cannot be in this place at the end of the month. I cannot. I can't. I'm not doing this. So I am going to move. I have a place. I think, we'll see if it could disappear. It could be taken. It could be snatched up. It could be, here today, gone today. You know, like it could be gone right now. I don't know. I'm reaching out about other places. The garage apartment that I talked about in the previous couple of videos, it disappeared from Facebook Marketplace, and I'm like, well, I can see why. That looked like a nice place. And then it popped back up under a different person's name with different photos, but the same place. And I'm like, wait a minute. That's a little fishy, but it doesn't mean it doesn't, I wouldn't call it a scam. It doesn't have a scam vibe yet. It seems legit. The price is right. It's not one of these too good to be true things with the photos, where the photos they put photos of a house that probably costs $700,000 with a crystal chandelier and a spiral staircase and marble floors and all that shit, and then they're like, only $500 a month. A gas range that costs $7,000. You know what I mean? Like, in the wall ovens and the brick wall, and what's a Sub-Zero refrigerator, like all that crap, and a big beautiful stainless steel hood above the range, and like all the fancy shit. And then, only $500 a month. Duh, that's a fucking scam. Oh man. So no, it's not an obvious scam if it's a scam. And I'm also poking at other ones. I've got a couple of weeks to try and find one. But if I don't, I'm hoping this one that's in my pocket stays in my pocket. Because I can do it. I just don't want to, I want something better. I'm holding out. So, but this landlord shit has torn me asunder. And so the coincidence is just it's too much. Not having a shower for 3 months. Not the mirror. It's a mirror image of what was going on with her back when I was just about to get out of prison. And these landlords were coming at her. All the same shit. The retaliation, the threats, the backstabbing, the underhanded shit, the crooked shit, all of it. Not having a shower for weeks on end, months. And then everything that gets done or fixed is shoddy and half-assed and useless. And, mirror image of what I'm going through right now. And I can say in the last couple of weeks, I've snapped at a few people. People trying to have a conversation with me. I'm like, leave me the fuck alone. I don't got time to fucking talk about this fucking shit. And just like snapping at people. Friends that only care about my well-being and want to help. And even if they're not helping financially or anything like that, they want to be there as a friend. And just, talk it out. Or, hey, I found I found something interesting you might want to look at, or whatever. And I'm just like, leave me the fuck alone. And then I'm like instantly, what the fuck, Adam? But I'm on edge. And I'm like a completely vicious and nasty person right now. I read a troll comment on YouTube and I'm like, go fuck yourself, you motherfucker. Like right off the bat, I'm like, you fucking piece of shit troll. If I could find you, I'd fucking send a SWAT team to your house. I would call it in. I'd go find a fucking payphone and a pair of rubber gloves and I'd get a voice change box and I would call in the SWAT team on your fucking house. You fucking troll motherfucker, right? I'm not there. I'm just making a point that I'm not in my right frame of mind right now. And it's all because of this shit in the last 30 days. This landlord has pushed me over the edge. It's literally the straw that broke the camel's back. I went to federal prison for 2 fucking years over some mean tweets, followed by coming home to a toxic nightmare, a month later being homeless for 4 months, then having to move 2,500 miles away from my fucking kids and everybody I know, except for my best friend down here, to stay at his place until that became too much and had to get out of there. And then I find a place and I finally get a roof over my head, and now I'm dealing with this fucking career criminal slumlord who won't even fix the hot water, who's threatening to throw me out at the end of the month because I won't pay a rent increase in the middle of a lease. And all the shit he's doing on top of that. And I'm like, it's too much. It's the straw that broke the camel's back. And so, hold on a second. All right, what's up? I'm home. Right when I stopped the recording at the park, a guy and a girl show up on a bike. They park right in front of me. They're chilling, looking at the view, whatever. It's public park. But I stopped recording and I pulled my little shade down on the phone to see how... And I was like, oh, snap, I got 8% left on the battery and I don't have a backup battery with me. And so I was like, time to go home. I wanted to finish what I was talking about. But it did give me... It's only a 20-minute ride home from there. And it was fast today because of the tailwind. And but it did give me some time to kind of finish out in my mind how I want to say the rest of this story. And so I know exactly how to talk about this. Got a comment, some douchebag, piece of shit, asshole, ass clown, troll, scumbag, and I know I've got to work on my hate, but this fucking piece of shit troll left a comment on one of the videos recently about basically telling me I'm an idiot and why do you believe in a sky fairy to solve all your problems? And my answer to that, why do I believe in the sky fairy? It's because it's real. That's why. It's called God. It's as real as it gets. And if you think that a magical puddle of ooze on the face of the earth magically morphed into human beings over millions of years, you're fucking retarded. I mean, this is what I'm saying. Like, everybody in God's kingdom has a place to share their wisdom about it. And no, I'm not going to be at the pulpit of a church anytime soon preaching to the congregation. Okay, but, he can use me in other ways. But I'm not, I don't think I'm going to last very long on the pulpit of any modern church calling people a bunch of fucking retards and, all the other things that come out of my mouth. God has a different plan for me. But he's real. That's why I believe in the sky fairy. And so, in your life, whoever you are, not the troll, but like all of you. I'm talking about all of you now. In your life, when you come across things that are, how many times do you have these random coincidences show up in your life that are just too weird and too coincidental to be just a random coincidence? It could be a premonition that you had, like a thought that you had in your head, and then all of a sudden the thing materializes a few hours later. I can remember as a kid, I remember having a vision, like a vision, I'll call it that, like a thought that our basketball coach was going to fall on his ass while he did a layup. And then 5 minutes later, he tried to do a layup and fell on his ass. And I'm like, well, how about that? You know what I mean? Like, and that's just a random thing I pulled out of the past. I don't even know how that popped into my head just now, but... So in the case of this story, I don't find it to be just some random coincidence that I came home from prison on April 3rd. And by coming home, I mean walked into an apartment for the first time where I could sit in a chair, watch TV, grab a drink out of the fridge, just feel like a normal person in in a home again for the very first time since August 12th of 2022. Here it's April 3rd, 2024. And on April 3rd, 2025, all the problems with this landlord came to a head when he started threatening me, wants to raise my rent after not giving me hot water for 2-3 months, and threatening to throw me out at the end of the month. I'm still here, by the way, and all this other shit. And trying to bully me and strong arm me and playing all these fucking games and all this bullshit. And that's what kicked off this whole 30 days of me being out of my mind lately. Now, when you have something like that that's that coincidental, I talk about this stuff all the time on my channel. There's a word for that. It's called a synchronicity. Synchronicities. One of them would be called a synchronicity. Many of them synchronicities. And so the reason why, that you have a feeling that when you get some sort of weird thing like that it feels like more than a coincidence, 99 times out of 100, that's because it's more than just a coincidence. Like, I'm trying to think, there's a guy I follow, I don't know what the hell happened to him. He fell off the face of the earth. His name's Freeman. He does pretty good, he had a pretty good podcast throughout the years, but, he's kind of a vagabond, hippie kind of guy, and he just peaced out for a while. I don't know, nobody knows where the fuck he is. He hasn't put out anything in a long time, and, but anyway, he bought an old school bus and just drove it around the country going on an adventure one time, and he was documenting it on his YouTube channel and stuff like that. And he was telling a story about how one time the bus broke down on the side of the road, and he was just beside himself. He had no idea what to do. And some random dude pulls over and says, "Hey, you need a hand? You need help?" And the dude ended up being a bus mechanic, a guy who actually works on buses. And so he ended up being able to fix the bus, and then he ended up going, "Come on over to my place," and blah blah blah, and we'll hang out and all this and that. And he ended up hanging out with this dude for a while, and he had this whole story around it. And he was talking about how if it weren't for the bus breaking down on the side of the road and him getting into he kind of got into a panic about it. You're driving around a fucking rickety old school bus around the country. You're probably 4,000 miles from home at this point, and it breaks down on the side of a busy road, and you're like, I don't know how to fix a fucking school bus. And some random dude just pulls up and says, "Hey, you want me to fix your school bus?" And then he ends up going on this crazy adventure and having all kinds of shit happen because he met this guy, and this guy turned out to be really cool, and he ended up having a place to park the bus and live for a little while and on his journey. And there's this whole thing, I don't remember the details, but he went on this whole thing about how all this good stuff happened to him because the bus broke down. If the bus had never broke down, that guy wouldn't have showed up out of the blue, and all this other stuff wouldn't have happened. Synchronicity. That's what I'm talking about. And so I've had the synchronicity for me, having being here in Houston and having work to do and stuff. I talk about, now I'm going to put this video out for you guys to watch, but I talked about how I met a guy at the park in downtown Jamestown. He used to walk his dog every day. His dog came up to me and basically, jumped up on me and wanted to get a pet. And I was petting the dog, and I started talking to the dude, and it turns out he needs websites built, and he owns a business in town, and he turns out to be this really cool fucking dude that I'm hanging out with and talking to all the time now. And, he's kind of we're long distance buddies, but talk to him every week. Talk to him multiple times a week. We're working on some cool stuff together, and I've got a couple of videos to show you about that. And that was all all that synchronicity just fell into place for both of us. We're helping each other. And it's that kind of stuff. So synchronicity is the topic of this video from, all the stuff I've told you already. And in fact, it's so much so that I'm going to add this video to the Synchronicity playlist on my channel. So it'll be on the Chaos to Comeback playlist if I even have such a thing, but there will be a Chaos to Come Back playlist. There's a tiny housing playlist. There's a homeless in Jamestown playlist. And there's a Synchronicity series playlist. So any video where I talk about synchronicity in great detail, I'm going to put in that playlist because they all go together. And so if you want to learn more about synchronicity, you can go to that playlist on my channel and watch all the videos that are in it. And that will just continue to grow as I cover this topic, because there's so much. I have so much stuff for that topic. It'll take years to tell you all the crazy stories I have. But this particular story, just to recap from what you've been watching, April 3rd, I get out of prison. I end up in a toxic situation. And I end up homeless on May 17th. And, I told you the story of the relationship. I told you everything that happened, basically. And now a year later, it's April 3rd. I'm dealing with this landlord. I haven't taken a shower for 3 months. 2 months at that point, but it turned into 3 months without really being able to take a shower, not having hot water, dealing with all this fucking bullshit from this crazy ass slumlord. And it's a parallel. It's an exact mirror of what was going on in my ex's life a year ago with the crazy slumlord and this crazy ass landlord, the business landlord and the house landlord, the apartment landlord, both attacking at the same time, just like... Anyway, mirror image of that to the exact day. And that's a synchronicity right there. That is undeniably a sign from God to me that I'm supposed to... There's some reason why this happened the way it did. And so, I'm going to dig deeper into this. So you know the story about what happened. Obviously, everybody who hears the story, the first thing that comes out of their mouth is, well, she was fucking some other guy, right? Of course. That's what everybody... it's the first thing that came to my fucking mind when this all started to go to shit. And I told you that. We've covered this topic. That dead horse has been beaten 6 times just in the course of this video. It's just a pile of bones and some hair, horse hair, and a tail. Like, there's no meat on those bones, but I'm still beating that dead horse. So here we are, dead horse beaten again. And now let's talk about what is the message I'm supposed to get from this. Well, number one, I have said this to God numerous times. This whole thing is my fault. I'm the one who did the stupid thing. I said the stupid shit on Twitter. Everything that happened is my fault, a result of my actions. This whole thing is my doing. Everything I'm suffering and everything that everybody else is suffering is all my fault. And believe me, plenty of people have said that on the channel, in the comments. If you read the comments under any news article about what happened, you go to Fox News and you read the thing that happened, you read their write-up about it, you'll find 300 people in the comments, what a piece of shit, he deserves everything he gets, whatever. And so, God is using this situation to show me that things are a lot more complicated than they appear in terms of who gets to be blamed for what. Okay? So, is it all my fault? Is it all my fault? Some people will say that, and a lot of people are going to comment on this video. Yes, you got everything you deserve, you piece of shit. Why don't you fucking die, you worthless sack of shit. Everything you got, you deserved. Everything that you're going through right now is a direct result of your own actions and all this and that and the other thing. And yeah, you're right to some extent. But is it really all my fault? Everything is all my fault. There's no other blame to be assigned here. And this is what God's trying to tell me. Because I can beat myself up until I die over this every day of my life. Okay, number one, I have a big part to play, and a lot of the blame can be assigned to me. Because I did the thing, I said the shit, I put out the mean tweets and everything else that happened. is on me. But let's see. How does somebody get into the fucking frame of mind where they're going to lash out like that on social media? I don't know, maybe could the fucking piece of shit scumbag mask wearing vaccine pushing Jim Jones vaccine Kool-Aid cult douchebag Democrats have anything to do with that? Because I just got fired from not only did I just get fired from a job back then, a remote job, a job where I worked from home from 2019, way before this whole scam started. And it was a work from home job. They fired me from a work from home job because I wouldn't take the vaccine. It kicked me to the curb. And all you fucking Kool-Aid cult vaccine drinking douchebag Democrats fucked us all. You were throwing people out of their livelihoods, shutting people's businesses down over this scam. Like, you fucked us. You fucked us so hard that I'm supposed to forgive people, but I can't forgive you fucking people for that shit. You have some blame in this situation. You ruined people's lives. You ruined people's livelihoods. You destroyed their fucking businesses. How many people lost their jobs because they wouldn't go along with Dr. Mengele or Dr. Fauci's fucking medical experiment? And how many of you cheered it on? You fucking scumbags. So no, some of you fucking scumbags have a lot to do with what happened after the fact. All you fucking dirtbags that I worked with at that scumbag company, that Jim Jones vaccine Kool-Aid cult bullshit where you're all showing up to your fucking Zoom meetings with your masks on your face even though you're home, working from home, but you're all showing up with your fucking masks on your face because you just want to fucking show everybody how much of a brainwashed idiot you are is what it boiled down to. And then you're all, instead of saying, I have an appointment, I'll be out for a couple hours. That's the way it would normally go down at that company. Yeah, I might not be available on Wednesday afternoon from about 2 to 4, but I'll be back. I'll check my email and I'll get caught up on whatever, because we all worked from home. Now it's, I'm not going to be available Wednesday afternoon because I'm going to get my vaccine. I want everybody to know I'm getting my vaccine, and I got to announce it to the whole company. I'm a good little boy, and I'm going to get my shot. Fuck you, you fucking scumbags. I fucking hate every single one of you fucking dirtbags that worked at that company. Hate you motherfuckers. So once again, there's some things I got to work out in terms of being able to forgive other people. This is something God's put on me, and there's a good example of that. So we're going to move on. So now we've got, okay, I have a lot of blame to assign to myself for what happened, but the Democrats and this whole scam that they pulled on all of us ruined all of our businesses, ruined our livelihoods, ruined our fucking lives, fucked up our kids beyond repair. I mean, the damage that you people did going along with this bullshit is insane. And I don't think I'm ever going to forgive you people for that. Any of you motherfuckers that went along with that shit, if I know you went along with that shit, we're not friends. We're never going to be friends. We are never going to have anything in common. We will never be friends. And believe me, I can sniff that shit out without even having to ask the question. I'll know without having to ask. I can ask other questions. How many genders are there? If there's more than 2, get the fuck out of my face. So yeah, we're gonna leave that there. But okay, there's someone there's a group of people that have part of the blame for what happened in the situation. There's a specific group of people that have a part to play in the blame for what all went down because they threw me out into the fucking street for not joining in on a medical experiment, a Nazi fucking dictatorship, Dr. Mengele medical experiment. And I said no, so I was thrown to the fucking curb on Christmas of all fucking days. 2 weeks before Christmas, I was kicked to the fucking curb for not going along with that shit. So fuck you, you fucking I hope one of you fucking dirtbags at that company finds this video and then passes it around to everybody else that worked at that company, and you can all go choke on a fucking dick. That's what I got to say to you fucking slime balls. And I would say it right to your fucking face if I ever see you people again. Fuck you, but I'm 2,500 miles away, and I hope I do never see you again. Anyway, gotta move on because there's other things to talk about here. And so there's me to blame, but partly the scam that was going on, I finally just had enough of your fucking bullshit. When they raided Donald Trump's house, it was a long line of, what the fuck are you assholes gonna do next? And so now I'm livid because I've been dealing with the fallout from your bullshit for the last 2 fucking years. And you just won't stop. And I finally, something finally snapped inside of me. Being kicked to the curb for Christmas by a bunch of fucking douchebags. For not taking a shot, for fuck's sake. For not showing up to the Zoom meeting and holding up my vaccine card for everybody to see in the all-company Zoom meeting. Fuck you, you fucking virtue-signaling douchebags. Fuck you. So, that was part of it. There's blame to be held there. And then, okay, what about the FBI? And the Biden administration, day after day after day after day, people are posting death threats to Donald Trump. I'm going to kill you and your family. I'm going to kill your fucking cunt wife. Fuck you, Donald Trump. I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill you and everybody surrounding you. I want to kill you and kill everybody associated with you. And I'm going to kill your fucking sons and blah, blah, blah. And nobody ever knocked on their fucking door, did they? The FBI never showed up at that house and knocked on a door. Nobody ever got questioned by the FBI for saying that, did they? No. But I said some shit. I post a fucking screenshot of the IRS website saying they're looking for new agents, and at the bottom of the thing it says, must be willing to use deadly force. And I post that with a caption that says, if you motherfuckers kick down my door, I'll slaughter all of you. I'll fucking be ready for you. Or something like that. I have the exact quote in my desk drawer. I'm not going to dig it out right now. I'm sure you can find it with a quick Google search. So I said some shit like that. I didn't threaten any specific people. The feds. The FBI. I said some pretty fucked up shit. I'm not going to deny that. I shouldn't have said any of it. But I kind of felt like it would be all right because everywhere I look, I mean, fuck, the Democrats are going into Minneapolis and burning a whole fucking city to the ground because they're mad about a guy on fentanyl getting killed by the cops. They're mad at Donald Trump, so they burned down Seattle. They set up a fucking... They burned down the police station in Seattle. Nobody gets in trouble for that shit. So I thought, maybe I can talk a little bit of shit and nobody will bother me about it. But no, the FBI shows up at my house with a fucking tank. It drives a fucking tank into my house. And has a whole goddamn half the fucking military show up with all their camouflage gear and their fucking battle armor and their helmets and their M16s and the whole fucking nine. Snipers hiding in the fucking trees, smashed every fucking window and door of my house. Probably would have burned me and my son alive if I hadn't heard all the fucking racket that finally woke me up out of a sound sleep to come upstairs and see what the fuck was going on. So I don't know, is there any blame to be placed there for the FBI overreacting to someone's bullshit on Twitter? Like, the FBI was saying all week long after the Trump raid, we have received an unprecedented number of threats on social media and blah. So you picked one fucking guy. One fucking guy got their house kicked in that week for an unprecedented number of threats. But we took one guy, we drove a tank into his house, dragged him off to federal prison and left him in a fucking box for 2 years. But nobody else got in trouble that week. Hundreds of thousands of threats have been pouring in. We arrested one guy. So no, there's no blame to be placed there for the government, for this out of control government run by a fucking creepy old senile, dementia riddled, child sniffing pedophile who didn't even win the fucking election and stole it. That we can't, none of the blame for any of this lies with a corrupt, out of control, overreaching government with their jackbooted thugs kicking down someone's door with a fucking tank because he talked shit on Twitter. There's no blame to be laid there, huh? Just the guy who said mean things on Twitter. So, what I'm saying is, it's not all my fault. I said the shit I said. I played a part in this, a big part. You know, fuck, we can give it, I'll take 90% of the fucking blame for what happened. But there's other factors. This is what God's telling me. This is what God is telling me through this synchronicity that I'm experiencing right now. And there's no doubt in my mind that this is what I'm supposed to share about this today. Like, this isn't coming from, I didn't write a script for this. I didn't take notes. I'm just sitting on a bench on a swing, and I'm sitting in a chair just shooting from the hip. This is just what's coming out. This is what is being revealed to me as to why this all happened the way it did. Okay, so there's blame to be laid at the feet of different people involved here. This is a more complicated issue than a guy ran his fucking mouth on social media and deserved everything that happened to him. Okay, so there's blame to be laid. All the people, we've got the Democrat scumbags, we've got the company that fired me, we've got the companies and the people, the other people that I experienced, friends of mine and people I know who lost their businesses or were being fucked with by the government because they wouldn't go along with this bullshit. And so that was all affecting me. We have, you know, the out of control, fucking creepy ass, dementia riddled, hair sniffing pedophile pretending to be president who raided Donald Trump's house and did all this crooked shit and sent a tank to my fucking house to bulldoze the front door of my house down because I said some mean shit on Twitter. And me, right? So all these people are to blame. Then what happens next, right? I go to prison, you know, there's other shit going on. You know, I can blame friends and people who had my back up until they didn't, right? Everybody I know except for 2 people at the time had turned their back on me, and to this day I'll never speak to them again. That's friends, family, that's pretty much everybody in my life except for 2 people who just turned their back and said, we don't want anything to do with you, you fucking piece of shit, ever again. So now you know how many people have come out and told me after I got home that, well, I wanted to go to court and stand up for you, and you know, I know you could have used a couple character witnesses, and I really wanted to go to your court hearings, but, you know, I don't know, I was watching Netflix or whatever, I just didn't get around to it, you know, fuck you. Like, some of you people I'm still friends with, but, like, you know what, that sounds really nice hearing that when I come home from this fucking hell, especially when my lawyer was telling me at the time, you know, if you can get some character witnesses to come stand up on your behalf, it would help a lot because your ties to the community would have a lot of sway in how you get treated by the court. And when I go to court and nobody's there, nobody has my back, nobody, that reflects on, well, look at this piece of shit. Nobody gives a fuck about him. Throw him in prison for 2 fucking years. Fuck him. Obviously, nobody gives a shit about him, so there must be something wrong with the guy. So I can place some blame there. All the people that, oh yeah, we're your friends until we're not. I can tell you that all the people that turned their back on me, if the situation was reversed and the government had come and scooped them up and thrown them in a fucking prison over a social media post, I would have been in the courtroom standing up for that person or those people or whoever the fuck it was. They know that shit. I'd live for that shit. I would have been like, hell yeah, I'm going down there to stand up for whoever it was. And be a character witness for this person that I know who was talking shit on Twitter and got railroaded by the fucking government. I would have been there in a heartbeat for a lot of these people. But, I'm I got to get to the grocery store before they close because they have this chocolate milk that I really like and it's only available on Wednesdays. And if I don't get there on time, it's going to be sold out. So I just, I couldn't make it to your court hearing. Sorry, dude. You know what I'm saying? So that leaves an impression on people. Obviously, this guy's a worthless piece of shit. Nobody wants anything to do with him. Something must be wrong with the guy. Social proof is a big thing. We'll talk about that for just a second. Social proof is important. If you meet a girl, it helps if you have lots of friends and connections, and girls like a guy who other girls like. That's why a guy with a wedding ring walking down the street is getting, girls come up to that guy and are like, hey, I was wondering if you wanted to come to the bathroom for a minute and get a blowjob. I don't even know your name, but I saw that ring and I thought, if other girls want you, I want you. But if you're single, I don't want to be with a guy who's single. Why? Because nobody wants to be with him. That's why he's single. That's how women operate. Same thing with companies. If you're on LinkedIn and you've got five connections on LinkedIn, nobody wants to fucking talk to you. Well, he's obviously not that important because nobody on LinkedIn wants to be his friend. Maybe I just think LinkedIn is a fucking cesspool of corporate brown-nosing bullshit and virtue signaling and assholes that I don't want anything to do with, and that's why I've only got like 5 friends on LinkedIn. Because I don't want to be on that fucking piece of shit platform. And I gotta waste time in my life, but it's social proof. I could have 500 connections on LinkedIn to people I don't even know, and all of a sudden the recruiters are going to be like, well, he's real important. Look, 500 people are friends with him. I don't even know half these fucking people. Half of them are from fucking India. I don't even know how to pronounce their fucking name. They asked me to be their friend. I'm like, sure, I need another LinkedIn friend so these fucking fucking recruiter whores will pay attention to me because now I've got social proof. So, I used to have a LinkedIn profile and I had a lot of real friends, and then I ditched LinkedIn, so I lost all of those endorsements and stuff that go with that. People endorse each other that used to work with together, and so I had a whole bunch of I had 100 people give me endorsements for all my different skills and stuff. And so I quit LinkedIn for years. 6 years I had quit LinkedIn. Before I went to prison, I wasn't on LinkedIn at all for 6 years. And I was still getting jobs, and it didn't matter. But then I get back on LinkedIn, and I go on a job interview, and one of the first things that the person says to me, you don't have any endorsements on LinkedIn. What's your problem? What's wrong with you? You must be a piece of shit. Fuck you. But social proof is important. That's why when I went to court, that's part of the reason why I got railroaded, because nobody wanted to fucking show up. And you all know, all you motherfuckers that I'm talking about, if you're watching this video, you know who you are. And you fucking know that if you were in my shoes, I would have been in that fucking courtroom for your hearing. You know this. I would have drove across 3 states to go to that fucking hearing. I wouldn't have missed that shit. I would not have liked to hear about your situation and being in the clink and being in the chains and wearing an orange jumpsuit to go to court. But I would have been there to fight. I would have been there. Look, this person's not. You're railroading this person. This is a good person that you're torturing for no good reason. I would have been there. I would have laid it down. I would have got right up on that damn witness stand and told the prosecutor to go eat a dick. For you. Maybe I probably would have been professional me. So instead of saying eat a dick, I would have worded it differently, but it would have been the same thing. It would have just been the professional version, whatever, however that sounds. It wouldn't come out that way unless I'm in a professional environment, but it'd be the same thing. I would have been there. So I can blame some of that for that. When it comes to the relationship and the shit that happened when I came home, I have been blaming my ex for throwing me out into the fucking street like a... Fuck, dude, I'm just gonna leave that one alone. But for throwing me out into the fucking street, I've put a lot of blame on her for the way she acted, for the way she treated me when I came home, and just a lot of that stuff. And I'm gonna say some of it is deserved, to pass that blame on to that. Did she do anything to deserve all the strife and all of the drama and all of the trauma that this whole situation inflicted on her when this happened? No, she didn't do a damn thing to deserve that. Nothing. She went to bed one night on Friday night thinking she's coming over to my house tomorrow and we're going to go to the new brewery that opened up next door, next to the waterfall, and we're going to have a good time and have a good weekend, and we're planning another trip that we're going to go on, a road trip in a couple months, and we're thinking about buying land, and we're going to do this and that and the other thing. And then all of a sudden she's getting a phone call at 2 a.m. Hey, I just got arrested by the FBI and they're taking me to prison. And then that shit happened. And then, so yeah, she didn't do anything to fucking deserve that. Why she stuck around after it happened, I was like, wow, I really found someone good. If she's sticking by my side through this, that's a keeper, obviously. Fuck, man. And so yeah, I had hope the whole time I was away, the whole time I'm going through this shit. At least I have her by my side, the whole time. That was the main thing that kept me going through this whole thing. I don't know if it was just an act, like she was just pretending so that I would have some hope to cling on to, or was it some sort of like, I can't wait till he gets out of there so I can just throw him face down in the dirt and get revenge for this bullshit he put me through? I don't know. It doesn't, like I said, none of this makes sense. And that's what I keep saying to God over and over again. I'm like, God, I am going to go the rest of my life not being able to make any sense out of that. Why would someone stick around for 20 months or just about 20 months and then like the Tour de France, and then right at the finish line say fuck it, get off the bike and throw the bike in anger and stomp off the Champs-Élysées and get in the team car and just quit the Tour de France when you're literally 1 block away from winning the fucking jersey? You race the whole fucking race and you're right at the finish line and you're like, fuck it, I don't want this shit anymore. Take your yellow jersey and shove it up your fucking ass. Like, even Lance Armstrong kept his yellow jersey and he didn't even he cheated to get it. He had to give it back. And he's still living large. But anyway, like, it doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to anybody. Obviously, everybody's got the same opinion about what happened. But, okay, let's think about it a little bit deeper. With the coincidence that I'm going through right now, dealing with this fucking crazy landlord. That the shit that happened this week that I can't tell you about right now is so beyond one of the crazy... If this turns out to be true, holy fuck, is this the craziest thing I've ever experienced. This might be the craziest story I have to tell, but I don't know. It's like 50-50 whether it's a weird coincidence that, if it turns out to be true, is like Dateline NBC level shit. I'm not Dateline NBC level shit. What is it? 2020 Dateline NBC. unsolved mysteries. Like, I'm telling you, this is the level this shit's crossed into. Possibly, maybe, I don't know. Just it everybody at work today, everybody, when I told the story, everybody agreed with me that they would feel the exact same way that I feel about it, and would be just as concerned and just as worried and just as much like, wow, you can't just let that go. You have to tell something. I did what I had to do. But I'll talk about it some other day. But it's like national news. It's crazy. It's crazier than my story. If it's true. If it's true. And it might be another reason why God put, if this turns out, if it is true, there's a reason why God put me here right now when he did. It's another, but I don't know. I really truly don't believe it's true. I pray to God that it's not true. I don't want this drama in my life that will come of it if it is. But if it is, whoa. This, it's a major one. It's a major one. It's way beyond. I'm gonna just let it go. So, some of you who are watching this video will know the whole story, and you all agree. Every one of you, everybody everybody I've shared this with agrees with that it's not something you can just sit on and just walk away from and be like, I had to say something to somebody. If you see something, say something. I don't like that. I don't like the snitch. I don't like the government telling me to snitch on people. But if you see something, say something. Came into play this week. Holy fuck. That's all I got. That's all I got right now. I saw something. I said something. Whether it is something, I don't know. But I saw it and I said it. I had to. Everybody agrees. Everybody agrees who knows what it is that it had to be said. I saw something and I had to say something. You had to. It's just too coincidental. It just and man, it's I got to get off of this one because you're all going to be wondering why I can't say it, and someday you'll find out and you'll be like, yeah, I wouldn't have said it either. not on YouTube, not that day. I would have waited. I got to see how this all shakes out, and so, but the stuff with the landlord, right? It's showing me. What's it showing me? How batshit crazy I've been over the last 30 days. Snapping at people, being irritable. Yeah, I'm an irritable guy, glass half empty all the time. But way worse this week. Way worse the last 30 days than I've been since I came home from the joint. And all because of this landlord bullshit. Because of what it's doing, it's ruined me financially. I can't go get a car. I'm still stuck on a fucking bicycle. This will be the third time I've been just about to buy a car and had the rug ripped out from under me again. Fifth time in a fucking year that I have to move, pack my shit and move. 5 fucking times in a year. I've already shelled out a bunch of money to move into this place. A first month's rent, a security deposit, all the shit involved, moving van, everything, hundreds, thousands of dollars. And now I got to do it all over again. I can't afford it, and I'm fucking struggling just to survive one day to the next, and now I got to do it all again. Again. Does the next place that I live, do I get to move into there for 2 months and then have to pack my shit and leave again? When the fuck can I have 3 months where my life is stable? And so that's the craziness that I'm going through, right? So think about that for a minute. And I'm like, so this is what my ex was going through. I'm in prison. She's going through fucking hell because of that. Just because of that alone, that her life is turned into a fucking nightmare. Just because of that. And now the business landlords, her one thing in life is her business, and she can go to work and she can run her business and she can do her thing, and now all of a sudden the fucking landlord's trying to throw her out in the street and take her building that she basically built and kick her out of it and throw her out into the fucking street and strip her of her livelihood and just take it all away because he's a dirtbag piece of shit slime ball who just decided he's like, oh, I like that. I want that. I like what you did to that place. You did a good job. I'm taking that. Get the fuck out. Fuck you. and so now that's coming at her. And now she can't come home and take a shower because the dirty ass slumlord for the apartment has the shower all fucked up. Gee, whoa. Where have I seen that before? Where has that happened before? Huh? You mean that shower right over there? Where I haven't been able to fucking take a shower for 3 fucking months because this crooked ass slimeball slumlord wouldn't fix it? Like, how fucking coincidental and synchronistic is that? So, yeah, while the one dude's trying to take away the business and rip that out from under her, the other slimeball landlord is trying to rip out is completely fucking up the apartment to where she can't take a shower. And that's all fucked up, and everything he does in there, he just makes the apartment worse. Every time he comes over to fix something, he ends up breaking it worse. And so that, like, where you get a moment's peace in that day? Right? So who can we blame? So now who can take blame for what happened to me? Right? If I'm gonna for all the fucked up shit I'm going through, who can we add? We've got, we've started out with the Democrats and the vaccine pushers, the company that threw me out in the street, all the other shit that the people did to the other friends and people I know and ruined their lives along with mine and got me all riled up because of that. Because I don't like seeing people I care about getting screwed. And that had an effect on me all the way through to, I got denied unemployment because I wouldn't take Dr. Mengelay's vaccine shot. All these things leading up to it. Then you got the overreaction from the scumbag Gestapo, FBI, whatever. The SS came to my house and drove a tank through the front door. And then threw me in prison for mean tweets when a guy I shared a jail cell with got 14 months for killing a person. 14 months for killing a guy, but the guy who said mean shit on Twitter, he gets 2 years. The people that turned their back on me and walked away and all that stuff. Now, okay, who can we add to the blame? We got 2 crooked ass slimeball landlords that were torturing my ex and trying to destroy her life at the same time all this shit's happening with me. And she's the one in the middle of it. What did she do to deserve any of that? What did she do to deserve any of that? Oh, oh man, what a fucking piece of shit she was. She was a good tenant who rehabbed a building and took out an $80,000 construction loan to redo a building that was about to be condemned and put, structural support in it and redo a whole space to make it beautiful and make it a beautiful building that's going to be standing there for years to come so that she could operate a business out of it and bring more vitality to the neighborhood and make the neighborhood look better instead of this decrepit fucking building that's falling apart. Now it's a viable business and it looks nice and it's no longer an eyesore to the neighborhood who pays the rent on time and takes care of the property. I mean, yeah, what kind of fucking landlord would want a shitty tenant like that? And then, the slimeball landlord at the apartment that she took over and completely redid, like went and like put all kinds of elbow grease in to clean it and to make it nice and to set it up nice and to fix things that were broken and hired a contractor to rebuild the fucking shower because the dirtbag landlord couldn't do it 3 times on his own without fucking it up and making it worse each time to the point it had to be completely ripped out and redone. And what kind of horrible tenant would do things like that? Why would you want a tenant like that takes care of your property? But all they were doing was trying to kick her, and then spreading rumors about, there's an axe murderer coming home from prison and he's going to be everybody's neighbor. let's go to all the neighbors' houses and say, hey, did you know there's a fucking 2-time convicted axe murderer serial killer who's getting released from prison and he's going to be living right next door to you? How do you feel about that? All this crazy shit going on. So yeah, I mean, this landlord fucking with me after I've been fucked with and thrown in the dirt for an entire fucking year. One thing after the next, after the next, after the next, after the next, after the next. And finally, this landlord has made me snap. I'm like, done. It's the straw that broke the camel's back, and I am on the warpath. I fucking hate everybody. A fucking troll on YouTube's mouths off, and I'm like, go to fucking hell, you fucking piece of shit. If I could track you down, I would. No, I wouldn't. That's just a figure of speech. I gotta put that disclaimer in there because I don't need to go back to prison for making some dumbass comment. I'm just making a point that she was getting attacked. So who do we add to the blame? We got 2 slimeball, scumbag, slumlord, douchebag landlords to add to the mix of what happened to me. And it wasn't just me being affected by all of this. But it's like God is just showing me. God's showing me, look how out of your fucking mind you've become in 30 days. Just because this landlord showed up and pulled the rug out from under you. And he allowed it to happen on the same exact day that I walked into her apartment. Our apartment. Shit, everything in the apartment was mine. When I moved out, that place was fucking empty and the only stuff left behind was my stuff. Just about. And it was just stuff I was like, I don't got room for this. I don't know what to do with it. So fuck it. You keep it. I don't care. But our apartment, her apartment, whoever's fucking apartment it was, I came home on the same exact day that this landlord came after me a year later. And did the same thing to me. Ripped the rug out from under me. Trying to bully me around and strong arm me into fucking capitulating to some scam. A fucking career criminal scam artist who's bilked people out of hundreds of thousands of dollars in fucking prostitution and fugitive from another state and all this other crazy shit on his criminal record. So yeah, I'm in a fucking crazy situation now for 30 days. And I'm still not out of it. And it's taken it's turned me from being on the edge of my sanity to being batshit crazy, certified, bona fide, batshit crazy. And so what God's trying to show me is look how crazy you've become in 30 days dealing with this asshole. Do you think that in her situation, dealing with you being in prison, her business, the rug from her business being ripped out from under her because of that scumbag landlord, and the rug being ripped out from under her in the apartment to the point you can't even come home from the business that's falling apart because the fucking landlord's being a shitbag. You can't even take a shower when you get home from that because the slumlord at the fucking apartment won't fix the shower. And I'm in prison and all that shit's going on. And how batshit crazy would you be? How batshit crazy if that was me? If that was me. If I had a girlfriend right now who was in prison and somebody was coming after my business, my web design business, and trying to yank the rug from out from under me, stole all of my equipment, or I don't know because I don't have a brick and mortar store. But if somebody came at me and tried to ruin my web design business that's keeping me afloat right now, and also this fucking dirtbag landlord trying to rip the rug out from under me and throw me out into the fucking street to be homeless again, if I was dealing with a girlfriend in prison, that I still wanted to be with, a dirtbag landlord trying to throw me out into the fucking street, and somebody trying to rip the rug out from under me for my business. Like, what if the probation officer, okay, here's one. What if the probation officer came at me and said, you're not allowed to do freelance anymore. You can't run your own business. You have to work at the bakery, whatever hours they give you, and you're not allowed to do work for your clients anymore. I'm cutting the cord. You can't do that anymore. And if you continue to do it, I'm going to throw you in prison. Like, that's a hypothetical thing. And I'm not saying that that's what's going to happen. But what if I got a call saying, you need to stop all your freelance work. You can't do it anymore. I'm not going to allow it. You need to work at the bakery, make $10 an hour, and not be able to survive. And then this landlord's trying to throw me out in the fucking street and raise the rent on me and not allowing me to take a fucking shower for 3 months at the same time, strong-arming and bullying me around, and I've got a girlfriend in jail, prison. For whatever reason, who knows. She said some mean things, and they put her away. And if I was going through all three of those fucking things at once, do you think I might be batshit crazy? And you think I might do some things that I would not otherwise do? Probably. I mean, I'd probably snap at the first person that poked me. I would be like a bear getting poked with a stick. I'd turn around and bite your fucking hand off. You stick your finger in the cage. As soon as that finger crosses the metal bar, I'm biting that shit off your hand. Now, done. All you got to do is put your hand in the cage and you don't have a hand anymore. Look at that. Your hand's on the floor. Your hand's on the ground. How does that feel? You like not having a fucking hand? You motherfucker. Don't try to pet me, you motherfucker. Like, that's, if I was a bear and I was getting poked that many times, first person that sticks their hand inside that cage doesn't, that hand's on the ground. How does it feel not having a fucking hand anymore, bitch? So, I come home from prison to this toxic environment, and a girl that's being driven batshit crazy. That's not even her fault. What did she do to deserve any of that? Nothing. I'm coming home from prison. That was bad enough. I wasn't expecting to come home to sunshine and rainbows and the yellow brick road, and we fucking skippity-doo-dah down to the fucking beach and have a blast, and everything's happily ever after, and you see the fucking end of the Disney movie. No, this was like the end of the Warner Brothers show where the fucking tunnel shows up and a bleep, 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 bleep. That's all, folks. It wasn't the fucking Disney movie where, Snow White and the prince go off to the magic castle in the sky or whatever. No, this was crazy shit. This was Warner Brothers ending. But, I mean, this is what I walked into when I came home. Okay, maybe she can't lash out at the two landlords, and maybe there's nobody else all of a sudden, here comes a fucking punching bag, just walked right in the door. Bam, 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 bam. Everything that I've dealt with for the last 3 years, you fucking piece of shit. Fuck you. Fuck you, you motherfucker. Fuck you. Why did you leave your fucking speaker on the table, you motherfucker? And why are you sitting at your fucking computer all day, you lazy piece of shit? I don't know, maybe I'm looking for a job. Well, fuck you, you motherfucker. All the shit. I don't need to get into all the details of what that was like. It was fucking hell. I'm not lying. I'll say this again. I've said this many times. When I became homeless, it was better than being in the apartment with her. Being homeless was actually an upgrade. I didn't see it at the time. I was afraid. I didn't want... Who the fuck wants to be homeless? Who the fuck is like, things are really bad here, but, I could be homeless. I could go out and be homeless, and that would be cool. Let's do that. No, you're going to try and work this shit out and keep a home. If you have a place to live and a roof over your head, and the only other option is go live out in the fucking street and be homeless, you're going to choose to keep the roof over your head. I mean, unless shit is really fucked up. And it was really fucked up, but it wasn't at the point where I decided, you know what, I should go live in a box. I should go take a cardboard box out in the woods and prop it up under a fucking bridge or something and make a home for myself out there. Maybe get a couple of tarps and like that guy, like the Olympic bomber, the guy who bombed the Olympics in Atlanta and then disappeared off into the mountains in North Carolina. He had like a bunch of camps set up with like tarps and buckets and just shit that he'd scavenged, and maybe I could go live like that. That would be better. But what I didn't realize was that being homeless was better than being at that apartment. Because when you're in the apartment going through that shit and you're looking at, oh my God, I'm going to be homeless in a month. There's no way I'm going to make it till I can find a new place and get on my feet and find a job. That's not going to happen. I'm going to be homeless. This psychotic nut job's going to throw me out into the fucking street, and that's what happened. But why was she so nuts? I don't know, maybe because somebody was trying to steal her livelihood from her and throw her out of the fucking building that she built, basically, and throw her out into the street while the fucking slimeball other landlord was trying to ruin her reputation and throw her out to the street and not give her a fucking place to take a shower even though she's paying rent and everything else under the sun that, goes along with what I'm saying. And then, oh, my boyfriend's in prison because he fucking threw a temper tantrum and said a bunch of dumb shit on Twitter, and now I gotta deal with this fucking bullshit. Fuck! That would be enough to make anybody go fucking batshit crazy. And probably you would end up doing things that maybe you regret. Maybe you wish things, like, I can say for sure that I lashed out at a couple of people in the last couple of weeks. And immediately I was like, fuck, man. Why'd you do that? And now both of these people, they're like, nah, we're cool. I get it. You're going through some shit. No worries. Apology accepted. We're good. We're good. I didn't mean to do it. It just came out. I was like, I can't fucking do this right now. I'm not having this fucking conversation right now. Whatever the fuck it was, And I got too much fucking shit. If you've been through half of the fucking shit I've been through in the last fucking year, you would understand. Blah. And I just laugh. And then I sit back and I'm like, dude, why are you... What? Just chill the fuck out. But I get it, is what I'm saying. It's like, I'm experiencing the same thing myself, but without some of the side things. But I've still got all kinds of other shit. I've got probation up my ass. Not really up my ass, but probation is a thing. I have to answer to them all the time. What if they bark, I gotta get up. If they say jump, how high? How high do you want me to jump? Oh, you want me to duck? Okay, how low? Oh, you want me to pee in that cup? Just say when. Of course I can pee anytime all you have to do is stare at my fucking cock and I can just pee on command. Yeah, that's gonna happen. So, because, it's always easier to take a piss when someone's down there looking at your dick going, okay, pee, come on, pee. In fact, here's an example. Like, in the one county where I was in the jail, when you go to take a piss test for the county probation in Butler County, they make you stand in a doorway where you have to hold on to a bar with both hands up in the air, like a fucking pull-up bar. With your hands, I can't show you, but your hands spread out like that, holding on to a pull-up bar, one hand on each thing. And you got to spread your legs across a doorway, buck naked. buck naked. Like, not, you got to pull all your fucking clothes off and just stand there buck naked like you're strapped to a fucking bondage thing in someone's sex dungeon. And then a dude reaches, he's staring at your fucking dick. He puts a plastic cup in one of those grabby things that old people use to fucking pick up garbage off the floor and stuff because they're too old and they can't reach the garbage. So they put the fucking plastic cup in a little clamp on a stick and then hold the fucking cup under your dick, and then they're like, okay, piss. Are you fucking... You may as well just take me back to fucking prison for the rest of my fucking life, because I could drink 6 gallons of water right now, and I guarantee you, if I'm going through... If I have to be in your fucking sex dungeon strapped to this fucking bar, buck naked, with my legs spread and my arms up in the air, and you're holding a fucking cup in front of my dick with a fucking contraption on a stick, and staring at my dick and going, okay, piss, piss. Right now, do it. I guarantee you, you're not getting one drop of fucking piss from me in 50 fucking years of me standing there after I drank 20 gallons of water. It's never gonna fucking happen. You're never gonna see one drop. And if you don't piss, they take you to jail. Imagine that. Gotta keep them beds full, don't they? Like that, I mean, I don't know, is that... Like, you ever see Game of Thrones? You remember when they fucking strapped that dude down and they cut his dick off and he became Reek? Forget what his name was before that, but everybody, you know, he was Reek after that. That's basically everything short of cutting off your dick. That's what they do to you to take a piss test. Who the fuck in their right mind could take a piss in in that scenario? Like, oh yeah, I this is how I always pee when I'm home. It's the only way I can get a drop to come out. Who the fuck could take a piss on command going through all of that? It's not that bad it's not that bad when the probation officer comes over and tells you to do it, okay? At least in the federal probation. But this is what the county probation was doing to people back where, and I was like, how the fuck do you do it? I don't know. Some people can. I don't know. I mean, some people can just fucking whip it out and write their name in the snow anytime they want to leave their autograph. But I can't. It's not gonna... There's no fucking way. You could give me 20 gallons of water and threaten me. You could put a fucking firing... Oh, you put the firing squad in front of me and say, if you don't piss, we're gonna shoot you in the heart. I'd be like, just pull the fucking trigger. Because that just made it 100 times worse than what we're already going through here. So, let's game over. Let's just take me to fucking prison. Give me the life sentence. Whatever. I'm not going to be able to piss. I'm never going to be able to piss again. Even when you fucking people leave me alone to do it, I'm not going to be able to do it anymore because of the trauma you just put me through. I don't know how I got onto the whole piss test thing from the topic I was at before. But no, I mean... This is the kind... Okay, so yeah, probation. Probation could come and rip the rug out from under me, and I've got all this crazy shit to deal with that. I've got the landlord bullshit. I'm trying to put a life back together. I'm 2,500 miles away from my kids. I got 99 problems, but a bitch ain't one. I mean, I don't know. Maybe someday I'll have 100 problems, but right now it's 99, and that's fine with me. I got 99 problems. So yeah, like this particular problem, you threaten someone's livelihood, you threaten the roof over their head, you take basic hygiene away, people will go a little bit fucking crazy. People will go crazy. And so this is like the synchronicity of all this. The point I'm making, the point in this long ass video about it, is God let these things happen. I think he put me here for a reason. And he just, the timing of everything was to show me, like, look, dude, there's 2 things you got to get out of this in your head. Your whole situation, yeah, it's your fault. You fucked up. You said some stupid shit. You did stupid shit. But look at all the other factors at play. Everything from the Dr. Fauci Kool-Aid cult to being fired for not taking a shot. Who the fuck gets fired for not taking a shot before that retarded ass shit? That's never happened. And now you're saying without your vaccine card, you can't go to the grocery store and you can't go to a restaurant now and you can't You can go to a concentration camp if the Democrats had their way. Fuck you. So I'm still not over it. I'm still not over it. I'm never gonna forgive you motherfuckers that went along with it. But then again, God, this is so first thing he wants me to know is that yes, you fucked up. But was it all your fault? The trolls in the comments section, was it all your fault? No, it wasn't. It wasn't all your fault. I went a little bit fucking crazy because of all the crazy shit going on and the crazy shit being done. Textbook stuff, the stuff you learn about in history class when Pol Pot and Mao Zedong and Joseph Stalin become dictators in your country. That's now happening in America. That's enough to make people go a little bit crazy. All that shit I don't need to rehash the whole thing. And then then the government overreacts, they throw me into prison. I'm a political prisoner. Just like January 6th, I'm a political prisoner. They picked one guy who made some comments out of hundreds of thousands of guys that made a fucking comment that week, and they said, we'll go after him. We'll get him. Get the tank. We'll drive it into his house. It'll be fucking fun. And then they put me in prison. Overreacted. That could have been a fucking knock on the door in the middle of the day when I was home. They were watching me all fucking day. That's what they said in court. We kept going by his house. We saw him. He was home. Then he wasn't home. Then he was back. Then the other vehicle was gone for a while, and then it was back. They knew when I was fucking there. I was there all fucking day. I worked from home. They could have came at any fucking time during the day. I sat in a sunroom, surrounded by windows, working all day. They came by the house and they saw me sitting in the fucking sunroom all day long. They could have just pulled in the driveway in an unmarked car, got out of the car and came up to the door. And if I bolt and make a run for it, well, and you know, whatever, okay. But they could have came up and knocked on the door and said, hey, what's going on? We need to have a talk. But no, we brought a fucking tank to his house. And we decided that was the better solution. That was better because that's what gets all the headlines. We needed to smear this guy on the national news and make a big example out of him. That'll shut everybody up, won't it? So there's some blame to be placed there. And then all the stuff. And then I come home and my ex is going through me being in prison and all the shit around that, the business, the landlord, the home, the landlord, all this crazy shit. So there's just, you can blame the landlord, you can blame that landlord, you can blame her for doing the shit she did to me and throwing me out in the fucking street to be homeless. And there's blame to go around. There's blame to go around the room on this. Nobody is completely at fault for everything that happened. Not even me. And nobody is completely at fault. It's a crazy fucking shitstorm of one thing leading to the butterfly effect, right? You know, a butterfly flaps its wings in fucking Mexico and someone chokes on a lollipop in Timbuktu because of all the effect that the one thing turns into another, turns into another, turns into another thing. Pay it forward. So you Democrats started fucking around and paying it, and everybody starts paying it forward, right? And then paying it forward turns into mean tweets, which turns into the FBI driving a tank into someone's house, which turns into this, which turns into that, which turns into this fucking slimeball landlord trying to steal a business from somebody and another slimeball landlord that can't even install a shower while this is going on and all this crazy shit. And then I come home and it's like, I may as well have just hung me from the fucking ceiling of the apartment on a chain and put the fucking word Converse across or whatever. What's the punching bag company? I don't fucking know. But whatever company makes punching bags, just put the logo on my shirt and hang me by a fucking chain in the middle of the room and just kick it and punch it. And do that for a while. And then throw it out into the street when you're done. And kick it to the curb for the garbage man to come pick up. Because that's what happened. I came home. I ended up being the punching bag for, and not just, it wasn't just the landlords either. It was just every bad thing that had ever been done to her. I was the one who got punched out for it. Every bad thing that anybody had ever done, I'm the one who's right in front of her. Fuck it, man. Punch him. He's a punching bag now. Just bam, 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 bam. Get the fuck out. Throw him out with the trash. That punching bag's all fucked up now. I can't even punch it anymore. It's just falling apart. Get rid of it. Throw it out in the trash. And at the end of the day, fuck, I could have been in the same situation, or, if I was in the same, I could see how I would be batshit crazy if that was all happening to me and I didn't do anything to deserve it. What did I do in this tiny house to deserve the shit that this landlord is dishing out to me? No, I moved in. I keep to myself. I keep the place clean. I take care of things. I keep everything tidy, and I pay my rent on time, and, all those horrible things that those shitty tenants do. And this is how I got repaid for it. I didn't do anything to deserve that. I don't really feel like I did anything to deserve being thrown out into the street to be homeless, but it happened. And it's like, okay, so God, the second thing God's telling me is you need to forgive. You need to, she wasn't a bad person. There were so many factors and so many things going on and so much fucking chaos. And there's so much blame to go around. Like I've said, God's telling me there's blame to go around. It's not, you fucked up, I forgive you, God forgives me. You fucked up, there's some serious consequences you've been paying. You have paid well beyond the balance due on your fuck up. If there was a balance due on my fuck up, I've paid for it. It's like paying the mafia back a fucking loan for your gambling debt. I'm paying and I'm paying and I'm paying and I'm paying and I'm paying, and Tony Soprano shows up and he goes, yeah, but you didn't give me my 20 points. And now, you borrowed $100,000 and now you owe me 600. But I've been paying and paying and paying and paying and paying, yet the debt just keeps going up and up and up and up. And if I don't pay, he's going to break my legs. And then if I still don't pay, he's going to break something else. It's going to burn down my house. That's how I've been. That's the debt I've been paying off for my fuck up since it happened. I've paid that mortgage off 10 fucking times now, and I still owe more than the original loan. But, if only I would have just got drunk off my ass and ran over someone on a bicycle, my life would be back together by now. I wouldn't have gone, if I would have just killed somebody, I would be fine right now. Because I shared a jail cell with a guy who got drunk and ran over a cyclist and killed the biker, and he's fine now. He only went to jail for 14 months. He's cool. He's back in his house. He's chilling. He's good. He paid his debt to society. Where the fuck? My debt to society is the mortgage on Barack Obama's mansion. And I don't have the insider trade, I don't have the Nancy Pelosi insider trading deal to get the fucking money to pay the loan on the mansion. So, but there's so much chaos that has gone around, and I got caught up in it. Other people got caught up in it. Other shit has happened. Dirty, rotten, shitty people have been involved every step of the way, coming out of the woodwork. I think there's a level of spiritual attack there too. Satan came at me, trying to destroy me, threw me in fucking prison. I only had one thing left out in the world that I cared about, my children, three things, my children and my ex. I felt like I was coming home to something worthwhile, so that Satan turns around, he's like, how about hold my beer, watch this shit. I'm gonna get this landlord, okay, you go fuck with her, get this landlord, okay, you go fuck with her, this other thing, you go fuck with her, you go fuck with her, and you go fuck with her, and ruin her fucking life. And then look what Adam's gonna come. Now watch what Adam's gonna come home to. Oh, this is gonna be fucking great. Give me my beer back. All right, here we go. Watch this. He thinks he's coming home to something good. Oh fuck, he doesn't have any idea what he's coming home to. Wait until he gets out. Wait until he gets in the car outside the bus stop. Oh, it's gonna be fucking classic. All right, here, hold my beer again. Watch this. And he just goes and does something else. And so, this is why God's like, you got to forgive her. You got to forgive all the people that turn their back on you. You got to forgive these fucking Democrats. You got to forgive the people that went along with the Dr. Fauci, Dr. Mengele vaccine experiment. You got to forgive the people that fired you from your job. You got to forgive. And you need to do it before I'm gonna, you got some stuff coming your way. Job got everything back. Job got everything back and then some, and the rest of his life was better than it was before. And I'm like, that's great and everything, but what about his kids? His kids and all of his family were killed except for his bitchy ass wife. Why didn't Satan take away the wife? But there's a reason for that. Job lost all his kids, his livestock, his homes, his wealth, everything, his health, everything. But that naggy ass bitch was right next to him the whole time, telling him to curse God and your breath stinks and you fucking smell and you're ugly and I don't love you anymore and probably all kinds of fucked up shit. Satan was like, no, we don't gotta kill her. It's better that she sticks around through this. Trust me, this is better this way. But when Job got all of his stuff back and he got his riches back and his lands and his animals and his goats and his fucking sheep and all that stuff, and I guess he had more kids with that, I'd have been like, I would have been like, his life would have probably been better if he got a new wife. Read the book. I'm not making this shit up. He had a horrible wife. Why he would have more kids with her, I would have just kicked that bitch to the curb and said, but I guess, I don't know, God gave everything back. Maybe she was nice to him again. Because he got all his stuff back and he was rich again. She was probably, now I can be nice to him again because he got all his money back. And now he can take care of me again. And I can go take the credit card and go buy a purse at the mall tomorrow. But his leper ass last week, when he was broke, having leprosy and, lying in a ditch waiting to die, I was about to go fuck the neighbor. But anyway, Job got all his stuff back, all put back together, and it was his second half. The latter part of days, the latter days of Job were better than before. And I'm like, that's fine and dandy, but he didn't get his kids back. He didn't get the people that he lost back. So I'm like, I am a little bit skeptical when I read the Bible. I'm like, you're supposed to ask questions. You're supposed to ask questions. You're supposed to be honest with God. Why the fuck would I lie to God when he knows that you're lying? So I'm just going to say it like it is. I don't give a shit. He knows what's on my mind. He knows what's on my heart. Why should I try to be all sunshine and rainbows about everything? And he knows what's going on inside my head. So fuck it. I can just say it out loud. Plus, I have the freedom to say whatever I want now because, a lot of people are like, Adam, if you don't shut up, you're going to ruin your reputation. What, you mean the reputation that I ruined by getting 500 pages of Google results when you search my name that have my fucking mugshot? And all the shit that I said and all the stuff that I did and the standoff with the armed standoff with the FBI using my 12-year-old kid as a human shield and all this other bullshit that they make up. to make you, to demonize you in the media that all turned out to be not true. You know, and I'm exaggerating about that a little bit, but no, that's what they do. They make up a bunch of bullshit that's not true. And then you have to fight that off as well. So it's why whenever I reach out to a recruiter for a job and all of a sudden I get ghosted, I'm like, oh, she looked me up on Google. That makes sense. It's how, like, even the people at the homeless shelter were like, Adam, you need to change your name. You're never going to be able to find a job if you don't change your name. And I'm like, I'm on federal probation. They're not just going to let me change my name, especially if it's to go get a fucking job. They're going to be like, you're trying to shirk your responsibility for your crime. It's like, no, I'm trying to fucking survive. You told me I got to go get a fucking job or I go back to prison, and I can't get a job unless I change my name. But they don't see it that way. So anyway, that's the point. The synchronicity was to show me not only is there enough blame to pass around that it wasn't all my fault, I need to accept responsibility for which parts of it were my fault. But God forgives me. I need to forgive myself. Until I do that, that's part of who I have to forgive me. And I haven't even done that yet. I think I'm a piece of shit most of the time. And I hate myself just as much as I hate you fucking trolls and you fucking Democrats and everybody else involved. So I got to forgive myself, and I've got to forgive the ex, and I've got to forgive the Democrats, and I got to forgive the Kool-Aid cult at work, and I got to forgive all these people that turn their backs on me and all that stuff, and whatever that means. I don't even know what it means to forgive them. Can I forgive them and never have to fucking talk to them or see them or look them in, or just have anything to do with them again? Because I don't want anything to do with any of those people ever again. So, and I think the answer is yes, you can forgive them without having to have that conversation with them. You can just forgive and move on and just say, you know what, fuck it, it's over, it's in the past, shit's fucked up, shit happens. Everybody was going through a thing. Everybody was being fucked with. Everybody was getting kicked around. Everybody was being tormented. There were so many factors at play that you can't blame anybody. I can't blame anybody else, just like I can't blame me. The blame is so fucking spread around so many places that there's nobody I can blame for anything that happened. Blame my ex for me being homeless. Well, I could also blame the 2 landlords that were fucking with her and all this other. I could blame a lot of other things for me being homeless that are not me. But did I play a part? Fuck yeah. I played a part. A pretty big part. But so many people, yeah, the trolls all say that I'm a piece of shit and I deserve a life sentence and I should never be able to find a job, and, you know, you did what you got what you deserve, and everything you get from now on you deserve. Fuck you, go die. You know, and then every time I meet people in person, they're like, oh my God, I can't believe they did that to you. That's fucking crazy. That's crazy. You didn't deserve that. Oh my God, I can't believe this fucking government. Fuck Joe Biden. Fuck what they did. I can't believe it. You're like, it's like those January 6th people. Grandma took a tour of the fucking Capitol and she's doing 10 fucking years in prison for it, right? You know, she got pardoned, but, you know, all that shit has been, it's just, you know, it's like paying it forward. There's so much blame to go around. There's blame to go all around the room, to the point where everything is so interconnected and there's so many blame points branching off. Every time I blame somebody, that branches off into 4 more people to blame. And then when you go to each one of those 4 people, there's 4 more people to blame on top of that. And by the time, you know, it's like the 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon. You're never going to get to the end of it. everybody's connected to everybody, and nobody's blameless at this point. And so that's why God's like, dude, you just let it go. Just forgive and move on. Just forgive them. They don't know what they do. It's just like Jesus said, forgive them. They don't know what they're doing. Just like me. I lashed out at a couple of people the last couple of weeks, and they forgave me. Because why? Because I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. That's why. Because I was out of my fucking mind, and I wasn't of sound mind that day. Right? And so, like, okay, a lot of people did a lot of fucked up shit. I posted a bunch of dumbass shit on Twitter because I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I got thrown out into the fucking street to be homeless because someone didn't know what the fuck she was doing. You know, a landlord somebody begat somebody else's stuff, and he's like, oh, I like that building now, I want it back. And, you know, he didn't know what the fuck he was doing by trying to ruin someone's fucking life. Just because he was a greedy piece of shit, and he was like, oh, I like that building, I want it back. Wow, you did a really nice job sinking your heart and soul and your entire life savings into that building. Now give it back. So, I don't know. There's a lot. I gotta forgive this fucking slimeball piece of shit that I'm renting. Obviously, I'm not there yet. I gotta forgive the douchebag trolls that are leaving comments on this fucking video, and I don't even know when this video is gonna go live. It could be 3 weeks from today, and yet I'm gonna see some comment, and I'm gonna be like, fuck you, you motherfucking douchebag troll. And then I'll be talking about that comment in a video that you'll see a couple weeks later. And maybe I will have forgiven them by then. I don't know. Obviously, I've got some more work to do on this. But this is God telling me. It's like, number one, nobody's blameless, but it's not all your fault. Some of it is. You fucked up, but it's not all your fault. A lot of shit contributed to you doing what you did, and then in turn, more things happened, etc., etc., etc. And there's another analogy I'd like to make, but I think it would really piss people off if I did, and this video got really long. So, it's part of the Synchronicity series. I think all this shit happened for a reason. I think things are about to change. I'm going to look at the cool garage apartment tomorrow, supposedly. We're working out the details right now. I might have some cool digs in a couple of weeks. And we'll talk later. Peace out.